Hey guys, welcome back again to Mr. Musak's World History. Today we're going to look at the end of the Neolithic and beginnings of the Metal Age. And today's flipped lesson is a little bit different. I'm actually have you guys watch both my video, another YouTube video, and do a little reading in your textbook for me today. So kind of pay attention and kind of follow the links that we have within the video here today. So first off, let's talk about stone tools. We talk about stone tools a lot. We've analyzed the Paleolithic and the Neolithic. We looked at examples of stone tools. Here's a big question. Why might stone tools be a liability? Liability meaning, why aren't they the best tool? Why are we not using the exact same tools today? That is a big question we need to answer today. Now, the question is, what kind of tools replace stone tools? Obviously, it's metal, the same kind of stuff we use today. But what is the first metal tool? So what I want you guys to do is this. Please watch the linked video on this slide here. Just click on the little link there. And in your notes where it says first metals, I want you guys to tell me these couple things. One, watch the video and say, what were the first metal tools used made of? Okay, so what kind of metal was the first kind of metal used? Where was it discovered and started? How are these metal tools created? So like what was the process used to create these metal tools? And lastly, what type of things were made with these metals? So what kind of things were being made here? Was it decorations, tools, etc.? So please watch this video. It's about 3 minutes long, give or take. And we'll come back in a minute for you guys. Okay, thanks a lot, guys. We'll be right back. Alright guys, thank you very much for watching that little short video there. Hopefully you figured out what kind of metal was used, and we'll talk about that when we get to class and just why that was so important. Now the thing is, after the Neolithic revolution takes place, we start farming, we start domesticating animals, we start living in cities. And another thing we start seeing is that metal tools start to come around. And so basically, at the end of the Neolithic, we start smelting these metals from rock. You find rock, these veins of metal, whether it be copper or iron, those kind of things in the rock, and you heat it up to melt it, the metal out, or smelt it out. You're probably thinking, wow, what can you use to get this metal out of the rock? Today we use things like electricity and natural gas, those kind of things. Back then they actually used charcoal. You can make charcoal from wood by taking wood and you heat it up in an oxygenless environment, in a very low oxygen environment, and you'll be able to burn at a heat good enough to smelt metal out of rock. Now the first metals we see is copper, as you should know from your video already, and we see that come around right around 3500 BCE, especially in the Middle East. Eventually, after that, in the next 2500 years, we see bronze develop. Now that's an alloy of copper and tin. If you think about copper, very, very flexible, used in wire and those kind of things. Bronze is much, much harder because it's that alloy, that mixture of metals that's much harder, okay? Now the other thing we have is the Iron Age develops eventually around 1500 BC, where iron tools start using. Iron obviously being a much stronger metal than even bronze or copper. Now the question is, why are metal tools better? Compare this to your idea of stone tools. First off, your metal tools are a lot stronger. Okay, they can hold a much bigger beating. They even bend a little more because they aren't going to be as brittle at least as stone tools. Now, granted, iron tools still very brittle. We're not to the strength of steel, those kind of things yet, but still a lot stronger. Also, they last a lot longer. Okay, they aren't going to chip away as fast or have damage done to them as fast, and hopefully be a much longer tool that we can use. And the last thing, they also, they hold a better edge. So especially for bladed tools, weapons, swords, spears, those kind of things, you hold a much better edge on a metal tool versus the stone tool. And lastly, and some people debate this, but they might even be easier to make. Think about it. As we're making these stone arrowheads and spearheads, those kind of things, you have to chip away or nap away at that piece of stone to make that shape. Now you can just melt this metal up and pour it into a mold, and ta-da, you have your piece of your tool. Now granted, is it truly easier? I don't know. That's something we'll talk about in class a little more, guys. Look at these 4 places. You all see the different ideas, in China, the Indus Valley, Mesopotamia, and now River. Look at these 4 pictures on the screen and try to think to yourself, what is common between all 4 of these areas of civilization? Think about it. Think about it. Think about it. Yell it out. Now, that probably sounds kind of weird as you're watching this in ARP probably. But biggest thing we see is this. We see rivers there, okay? And think about why we build near rivers. Now look at my list of why we build near rivers. First off, you have a water source. You need water to live. So a lot of times you see civilizations develop on rivers to get by water. Also, you get food from these places, okay? Fish and animals will come to the river, so it's easy for hunting, easy for animal domestication, those kind of things. Transportation. Think about it. What's easier? Walking or going on a boat? So a boat can give you much faster, much easier transportation, move your goods. That being said, you also have trade routes. where you can then trade goods back and forth as you specialize them. As we look at talk about the Neolithic Revolution, you can specialize in the idea of trade. You also have crop irrigation, so you can grow your big farms, and then also have your farmland. The annual floods in the Sumerian Valley around the Euphrates and Tigris River and the Nile River help to make farmland. Also, you can build stuff with it. You have mud with water, and so you make mud bricks and even make stuff out of reeds and water plants, including things like paper and those kind of things. So all reasons why we build near rivers. The question is, where are these places set up? Well, you see all these big major farming civilizations set up around 3500 BCE. So you have Egypt. You guys talked about in 6th grade. We'll talk about a little more here, right along the Nile River. We have Mesopotamia in the in Sumeria, Assyrians, Babylonians, in that fertile crest to the Tigris and Euphrates River. We also have the Israel and Phoenicians in what's called the Levant, essentially this area right here, which is by the Mediterranean Sea. And lastly, we have the China and India in the Indus Valley and the Huanghe River Valley, or the Yellow River Valley over here. So Indus Valley being over here and China being over here. We'll talk about China and India a little later on. So what you guys do is think about this. Instead of me kind of going through all this stuff step by step, lecture by lecture, we're going to be doing an ancient civilizations project in here. So it's going to kind of be your big grade in terms of this unit. And so we're analyzing to see if these civilizations, especially Egypt and Sumeria, so on and so forth, were really truly a civilization or not. But to do that, we first got to figure out what civilization is. So the last part of your notes is going to be using your textbook. Yes, I know that big thing with pages and paper and stuff. Okay, that usually you probably use as a paperweight. But we're using your textbook here, using pages 18 and 19. And in your notes, there's a little section for your note guide, is to figure out, one, what the 6 factors of civilization are. Tell me why you think each one is a factor of being a quote-unquote civilization. And lastly, write down some examples from your textbook of what kind of goes into those civilizations. These will be due to me on Wednesday, September 24th is going to be. We'll kind of check those over, and we're using these for the next week or so. This will probably be your last video lecture here for the this unit. We'll pick up with the videos when we get to Greece. Thanks a lot, guys. Please make sure this is ready to go, and we'll see you guys in class.